James Ernest of the Gruel and Truth Radio Network here with TJ Fredette, GM of Team Fredette. TJ, we were just talking with you and Dan Britten about Team Fredette. Tell us what inspired you all to get into the tournament.
Well, a couple years ago, a friend of ours who's actually on the team, EJ Gallup, told us about the tournament. We didn't know much about it, and he was interested in putting the team in, but we had no idea how much work it would be and what it really entailed. And so we kind of were late to the process. And so that very first year, we had no chance of getting the team together and getting in. So then the next year, which was last year, we started early and really put our heads together and made sure that we took every step we needed to take to have a team that could be eligible. And we were able to get a team in and get enough votes to be eligible. And so that was good, but we lost first round. And so after that first round loss, we were really excited and kind of revved up to try it again this year. And having learned from a lot of things from last year, I think that we put ourselves in a much better position this year to be successful.
Last year you were a 10 seed. This year you're a 2 seed. What did you take away from last year's buzzer beater loss?
Well, I learned a lot of different things about recruiting. One thing I learned in particular is that if a guy tells you he might be able to play, you have to take that as a no. Because if you wait too long for guys, you're going to miss out on potentially getting other guys. And so you really need to stay consistent with your recruiting. The team that you think you have in April, the team you do have in April probably won't be the team that when you have to stay on top of it. You can't really settle and be satisfied, and you have to get more guys. You can't just go in with 7, 8, even 9 guys, because if you get a couple of dropouts, you could be in big trouble. So I think learning to recruit more guys and staying on top of it and kind of taking maybes as no's were things that I took from last year and helped us get in a better position for this year.
So obviously depth is a huge factor. What area do you have the most depth at?
We got depth across the board, but we're really deep at the guard position. I mean, we got guards that can play, and, we got 6 or 7 guys that could come in and not miss a beat. So I would say probably our greatest depth is in the backcourt.
Obviously, you and Dan are the GMs. Who is your head coach?
Our head coach is a guy named Mike Taylor, really experienced coach. He's coached in the D-League, and now he's coaching overseas for our team in Poland. And he's incredible. He just really knows the game. He's got such passion for it. He's been communicating with me back and forth. He's still overseas, but he's been on top of it every step of the way. And so we're really excited to have him because we really didn't have a coach before. So having him on board for this year is going to definitely give us a whole new outlook and a lot more organization, which will certainly help us in the game.
Exactly. That organization and structure and in such a close, challenging tournament sounds like a great idea and sounds like it could really help.
Absolutely.
So with your team, do you play more inside out or outside in? You mentioned with the guards and all being a huge factor.
I think we're going to play more outside in. That's yet to be determined because we haven't had an opportunity to get all the guys together yet. That's one thing that's tough about TBT. You don't get much time to gel. We'll talk it over with Coach Mike Taylor, and we'll think about it as we get closer and closer. But definitely most likely going to play more outside in because of the guards and the depth, and we got a lot of guys that like to penetrate, guys that can score off the dribble. But we do have some big guys that can score as well, so if we need to dump it down in, we're definitely going to be able to do that when we need to. So we're excited about our team across the board.
Obviously going from a 10 seed to a 2 seed is a great thing by adding that depth. Who did you add to the team to elevate the seed?
Well, I think definitely adding my brother Jimmer was a big thing. He's got a a big name and has accomplished a lot in the sport of basketball. So adding Jimmer was big. Also adding Xavier Silas, he's an incredible talent. I mean, he was with the Celtics this year, so he's an NBA level guy. So adding those two certainly helped us skyrocket. But then we also brought in guys like Jeff Ledbetter, incredible shooter. He played for the Austin Spurs this year, and they won the championship. He was a big part of that. We added Devin Williams, who's a monster inside. We added Derek Cook, who gives us an athleticism that we didn't have before. So adding all those guys, I think, definitely bumped us up from a 10 to a 2.
Actually, the interesting thing about your family, I hear that that neither you nor Jimmer are the best basketball player in the family. I hear Lindsay is actually the best basketball player. Is that true?
I think she would probably like to think that. But I don't know. I haven't seen her play in a while. She might have been working on her game out there in Rochester. So I guess when she comes home for the summer and we're all together, we'll have to find out. I'll have to see if she's been working on her game. I guess it's possible. She's aggressive. That's for sure.
Sounds good. So what was it like growing up there in New York?
Oh, it was great. You know, we grew up in upstate New York, so it's kind of a small community, kind of a blue-collar community where, you know, a lot of hard workers. And, you know, there was basketball courts everywhere. For such a small town, I mean, you could get to any basketball court in the town, basically, you know, within walking distance. So we were always playing outside and having a good time. We had some great friends that we grew up with, and, you know, sports were our thing. We were always playing basketball, football, tennis, you name it, and we were playing it. So we had a great time growing up in New York.
Your thoughts on the Midwest region, which you all are the number 2 seed in?
Excuse me, James, can you say that again?
Your thoughts on your Midwest region where you're the number 2 seed. What's the biggest challenge in the Midwest?
They got some really good teams. I mean, TBT is so stacked now, you really can't find an easy division or an easy game for that matter. Ohio State obviously jumps out at you. That's a team that was in the Final Four last year. You know, that's their region coming out of, you know, we're going to be playing in Ohio for the first round. They got incredible talent, incredible depth. They're hungry. So Ohio State definitely stands out. I know the Iowa State team is going to be tough. They got a lot of talent on there. I know Royce White's playing with them. And there's a couple other teams. I mean, like I said, there's no easy games in TBT anymore. There's just so much talent in this tournament that you got to be ready from game one. But I'd say Ohio State and Iowa State are two teams that definitely jump out at me.
Your thoughts on the rules to the game, the Nick Elam rules, the finish?
I think it's really interesting. I mean, it definitely changes the dynamic of the game at the end without having a score. I mean, the clock running. It takes away fouling at the end, teams trying to catch up, fouling, stopping the clock, you know, which is kind of a boring part of the game. So I think taking that out of it is going to make it a lot more exciting. It also gives a team that's way down, because they don't have to work against the clock, they have an opportunity to get back in it now. They get stops and they get hot, and they can make an incredible comeback. So I really like it. I think it's an interesting concept and something that, you know, take a little bit of an adjustment period, but I think overall I kind of like it, and we'll see how it plays out.
So it sounds like it's something beneficial to the fans of the game and the players.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is. So it's going to be fun to play that out and see how it goes. I mean, I haven't seen a game played with it yet. I know they did it last year for a couple of the play-in rounds, but I didn't catch those. So it's going to be fun to actually be a part of it and see how it all plays out.
Tell us about your fan support that you've received. Last year, obviously, an immense amount of votes to get in, and then, of course, this year.
Yeah, we've had great fan support. It's been incredible, and we certainly are very grateful for everyone who supports us. We've had a lot of people writing us, asking us different questions on our social media sites. A lot of people following us and telling us that they're voting for us, they're pulling for us. I get people even around town asking me about it. So the fan support has been incredible, and hopefully we can build upon that. I think the farther we go, the more fans we'll get. So that's the plan, to try to get as deep as we can and keep building that fan base. But it's been incredible so far.
And then a lot of the teams have a charitable aspect to it. I hear your family is working on something.
Yeah, we have a foundation, the Fredette Family Foundation, and we do different events in Utah, where Jimmer went to college, and also in upstate New York, where we grew up. And we try to basically help families in need. Pretty simple statement, but there's a lot of people who need help, and we have a golf tournament where we raise money every year in Utah. We have 3-on-3 tournaments that we run in New York and Utah to raise money for local families. And so we're really honored and blessed to be able to have the foundation, to be able to help as many people as we can. And hopefully at some point we'll be able to incorporate that into TBT and Team Fredette.
Sounds great. If fans are wanting to learn more about the team on social media, on the web, where should they check you all out at?
Well, we have a website, or not a website, but we have a Facebook page, www.facebook.com/teamfredette.com. We also have a Twitter, just @teamfredette. So we have a couple different social media outlets there. So they can find us there. I think if you Google us at this point, or you go to thetournament.com, you can find out more about our team on there. That breaks down our roster and everything. So there's multiple places where they can find us online.
Before I let you go, I want to get your thoughts about not knowing who your opponent is in that first game, and any concerns.
I much rather would know who it is, that's for sure, because it's going to be a lot more easy to prepare. Not knowing who you're playing makes it kind of difficult. But basically, you just got to be prepared for both of them. So you got to look at both teams, look at their rosters, find out as much as you can. There's so much that goes into TBT. It's hard to find the time sometimes to do the preparation you need to, or the preparation that you should do. But we're going to definitely take the time to look over both rosters, find out everything we can about them. I know the one team, West Coast Ronin, has been in there before, so we might be able to find out more information about them. I don't know as much about the other team, but we're going to be on top of both of them, because obviously either of them could be advancing, and we could be facing either of them. So we got to be ready for both, which makes it a little more difficult, but we think we'll be ready.
Sounds great. Thank you for joining us on the show, TJ.
All right. Thanks a lot for having me, James. I appreciate it.
It's our pleasure, and we look forward to covering you as you all progress in the tournament.
Sounds great.